So, as the title shares, there have been two new unreleased zones spotted in the Diablo 4 Steam version. And if many of you guys didn't know, the Diablo 4 Steam version released with the release of Diablo 4 Season 2, Season of Blood, that came out last week. And it's interesting. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but yeah, everyone's talking about the new secrets for the cow level, which I'm excited for too. But no one seems to be talking about that this data leak or yeah, there was this week for two new unreleased zones that will most likely probably be in the first Diablo 4 expansion. Um, and I guess spoiler warning, I'll flash some spoiler warnings on the screen if you're I'm guessing if you clicked on this video, you're interested or curious what this is about. And this information was shared to me through Wowhead. I'll put a link down in the description so you guys can take a look for yourself. I stated in my previous video they share a wealth of knowledge about World of Warcraft, but also Diablo, basically mainly Blizzard games. Um, But as the article states, it says two unreleased zones for Diablo 4 were spotted in the localization strings of the Steam version. These can be found in the Steam DP or DB, sorry, a website that utilizes the Steam API to provide a plethora of information. I don't know what any of that jumble means, but basically in the code for the files for Steam, this information was leaked, and of course, Blizzard is bad with leaking a lot of information all the time, so once the information's out there, I don't like leaks, but once the information for a leak is out there, someone's going to talk about it or report about it. I mean, this was reported by Wowhead. Um, Anyways, but basically, there's more confirmation because only two of the listed zones on the Steam DP are not present in the current iteration of Diablo 4. And I'll share a little image here, but basically these being and here's the zones, the Tenganzi Plains and the Torsian Jungles. It is not the first time these zones have shown up in the Diablo 4 game files. The zone names were first spotted in the earliest public betas of Diablo 4. So that actually makes me think, maybe they scrapped these zones. This isn't confirmation. They could have scrapped these in the beta. Maybe they were going to have more zones originally. And these were scrapped, or like I said, these might be a part of the first expansion. And I'll attach this image right here. But basically, these are like your character status. Like when you look at your friends list, um, on the Blizzard client, it like kind of shows where your character's located at. It could be Fractured Peaks, Dry Steps, Kyrgyzstan, Hawazar, Skazglen. But these two codes have been added as the Tenganzi Plains and the Torsian Jungles. And the Burning Hells, right? Because in that Act 6 of Diablo 4, you actually go to a different location that isn't a part of the Sanctuary map, the Burning Hells. So I mean, and they're considered Zone 5 and 6. So I mean, that kind of makes me think this is part of the first expansion that they're going to release. And then the funny thing is, BlizzCon is about a week away, so we're going to find out in a week probably if this week was true or not. But I thought I would just share a little bit of information. Yeah, like I said, these could have been cut, but I thought I would just share some knowledge about the two zones. So the Torsian jungles, and I could be butchering these names, also referred to as Torja, are located in the southern part of Sanctuary, southwest of Kurast. Torja's vast jungles span across the southern part of Sanctuary all the way up to Kyrgyzstan's borders. The exotic land is filled with vibrant and dangerous flora and fauna, and are unique to this region of Sanctuary. Many civilizations that called the jungles their home are lost to time. Today, the region is the home of the Umbaru tribes, which, funny enough, are the witch doctors, Opaya, and the Tusk Lords, a clan of druids. Creatures from the Burning Hells were also sighted in the Torsian jungles after the destruction of the world snow. And what's interesting about this zone is it's yeah, I mean it kind of makes sense, right? Because if they're going to release these two zones, I'll give you a description on the other zone, but basically these two zones are in the southern edge of the eastern continent, right? There's two continents, there's the western continent and the eastern continent. It kind of makes sense that they would start with just flushing out or filling out the entire eastern continent, right? And funny enough, if you look at the Diablo 4 map currently, if you scroll down to the bottom of the map, you kind of see this like it almost looks like torn or burnt edges at the bottom of the map, whereas the other edges don't look burnt or torn. They look more put together, I guess. That could just me be reaching, but after I read this news, I kind of just looked at the map because I was curious. Um, But basically, as I continue, a lot of people know the Mbaru tribes were actually the witch doctor from Diablo 3. The witch doctor from Diablo 3 was a part of the Mbaru tribes and lived in this location. And funny enough, here I'll let the man himself, Tyrael, give a brief description of the witch doctors and this zone. So I'll add this in right now.
Few outsiders have witnessed the Umbaru tribal feuds that rage in the dense Taganze jungles. These ritualistic wars are not for lands or gold, but for living captives to offer up as sacrifices. The Umbaru perform these ceremonies to honor the spirits of the unformed land, a veiled reality that the tribe's revered witch doctors can experience. Recently, one of the most devout of these warriors rebelled against his own spiritual leaders, believing that they had succumbed to corruption. Although banished for his ways, this witch doctor is unwavering in his faith in the spirits.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. So that was from like 12 years ago when Diablo. So it makes sense. They're trying to bring back, you know, um, the war and stuff from old zones and everything. And I'm actually surprised if this is anything like World of Warcraft, where in World of Warcraft, for example, Dragonflight going to the Dragon Isles, the new class is a dragon race. So they kind of try to incorporate the race and the class together. I mean, not the race and the class and the new zone, like they're kind of a part of the same thematic. So I was surprised because I thought Paladin would be the first new class just because that theme isn't in the game. Whereas Witch Doctor is kind of a mix between a necromancer and a druid, right? They're like nature summoning undead things. So I'm a little surprised. I mean, it still could be a paladin. I mean, paladin are relevant in Kurast, so it could still be paladin. But the fact that we're going to the home of the witch doctors, whereas Skosglen was the home of the druids, right? Um, so we'll have to see what happens. But another interesting fact is one of the skins in Diablo 4, the Tuscan Wars were first mentioned through the flavored text of a druid shop cosmetic in Diablo 4. I never knew this was a skin, but there you go. And in the skin, I'll share a little image of the skin here. It says, deep in the jungles of Torjan lie the domains of the Tuscan lords. Known for their great strength, these druids array themselves with the tusks of their animal ancestors. And you can kind of see these are more jungle animals, right? It looks like they shift into elephants or something. Um, Anyways, let's go to the next zone. So the next zone is the Tenganzi Plains. And sorry again if I'm butchering the names. And the Tenganzi is a region of the Torsian jungles. Oh, so it's a part of the Torsian jungles, and is split into the upper and lower region. It was a battlefield during the Mage clan wars, where the Umbaru of the upper region became Karaza, goatmen. Oh wow, I see. I didn't know that. So they transformed into goatmen. So this, I guessing the main monsters we'll see in this zone are the goatmen. In order to drive the Verijai Mage clan out of Tenganzi. Sorry if I'm butchering these. Uh, it worked. It worked, but then wait. It worked, but receiving the gift of becoming a Karazhan made them serve the demon Zagral forever. The witch doctors of Lower Tanganzi defeated Zangral and the Karazha. Interesting. See, I didn't know this war. I mean, I'm kind of just reading this to you guys, but today only Lower Tanganzi is still inhabited by the Umbaru tribe. Um, but yeah, I that's the other. I guess there's not as much information or details about the plains, but I guess it seems like it's just a part of the jungles. So maybe this would either be one big zone or two zones. I think it would kind of make more sense if each expansion released two zones because of the scale. I don't know. Maybe it would be one zone, but I can almost see it being two zones. Um, and each zone is kind of its own biome, right? Like the Fractured Peaks is the ice zone or the cold zone. Dry Steppes is like the prairie zone. Kyrgyzstan is like the desert zone. Gosgwin is like the marine zone, so on and so forth. So I can definitely see like there's no actual jungle biome in Diablo 4 yet. So I could, they're adding a jungle slash plain zone. It would sound like. Yeah, and I just wanted to make this short little video. Sharing, I find this stuff interesting. And once again, I said we'll probably in a week find out what the next Diablo 4 expansion is, and this could all be pointless or not correct. But let me share your thoughts. Do you think this is real? I think it's probably real. It makes sense to me. I am a little skeptical on if the which doctors would be the next class. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you think it'll be like a paladin or witch doctor. Do you think these zones are legit, or will the and based off the campaign, it looked like she went across the sea. So maybe we're going to the Western continent, and this is all wrapped content. It's fun to speculate, though. I love these videos to like kind of guess and figure out where we're gonna go next. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.